The Hinterkaifeck Murders, a case that still haunts the minds of those who hear it. A brutal, cold-blooded crime that took place in a secluded farmstead in Germany in 1922. What makes this crime so unsettling isn't just the sheer horror of it, but the chilling details of the crime itself, and the eerie mystery that surrounds it. This is the story of the Hinterkaifeck Murders. Andreas never sought help from the authorities. On March 31st, things took a horrifying turn. That day, the Grubers were murdered. The killer, or killers, used a variety of tools from the family's workshop, including a pickaxe, to brutally murder Andreas, Kazilia, Victoria, Cecilia, and little Joseph. The bodies were found in different rooms of the house, with the killer seemingly taking his time committing the murders slowly and methodically. But here's where the case becomes truly terrifying. The killer didn't flee the scene. In fact, it seems the killer stayed at the farm for several days after committing the murders. Authorities found evidence that suggested the killer ate meals with the family's food, slept in their beds, and lived on the farm for as long as 4 days after the murders. The animals, including the family's livestock, had been fed and taken care of, and no one had heard any unusual noises in the days following the killings. Neighbors were concerned when they hadn't heard from the family for several days, so they decided to visit the farm on April 4th. What they found was a scene of unspeakable horror. The bodies of the Gruber family were found in various stages of decay, and the smell was overpowering. As for the killer, he or she had vanished without a trace. The investigation into the Hinterkaifeck murders would last for months, but no one was ever convicted. There were several suspects, but none were able to be definitively connected to the crime. Many pointed to the family's maid, who had just been let go a few days before the murders. Others speculated that the killer could have been someone from the nearby town, a local who knew the family's routine and had a reason to commit the crime. But no one could ever say for sure who had done it or why. The mystery only deepened when rumors began to swirl. People claimed that strange events had occurred on the farm prior to the murders, things that hinted at an even darker supernatural presence. Stories of shadowy figures and ghostly sightings emerged, and some believed that the farm was cursed. Despite multiple theories, including the possibility of family members being involved, or the farm being a target of a personal vendetta, the case was ultimately closed without resolution. Some believe the killer may have been a deranged, isolated individual who had once worked on the farm. Others speculate that the Grubers knew their killer and were targeted for reasons that have never been understood. The Hinterkaifeck murders remain unsolved to this day, a chilling reminder of the unspeakable horrors that can occur even in the most isolated and seemingly peaceful places. What happened on that small farm in 1922? Was the killer ever caught, or was the crime simply forgotten by time, as so many others have been? Sometimes the answers are not meant to be found. Sometimes the only thing left is the darkness.